questions to ask throughout a campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yes guys, welcome back to episode 7 of Transfer Weekly, the show where I tell you all about all the rumours and potential transfers that could be coming in and going out of Crystal Palace. Before I get started, please remember to look at the shorts that we are posting as they come out daily. So, stick around for those and yeah, let's get straight into it. 27-year-old Danish centre-back Joachim Andersen currently got himself a hell of a lot of attention for the last 2 years of playing at Crystal Palace. Been a very good centre-back, outstanding, might I add, for Crystal Palace. And he's done that for 2 years consecutively. He has, unfortunately, because of this, gathered lots of interest from 3 Premier League clubs, which include Brentford, Newcastle and Tottenham Hotspur. We're going to talk about Brentford's one first because they have originally valued him at £20 million. I'm going to just dismiss that straight away because I think we bought him for 16, so I highly doubt we're going to only make £4 million profit for someone as good as he is. Honestly, for a valuation of 20 million, which they've done themselves, of 20 million, is really a bit insulting actually to see how good he is, how good his passing is, how good he is as a leader at the back. Brentford, if you wanted him, you would pay some serious money, but you ain't that guy.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy.
However, a more believable story comes from Newcastle as they look to prioritise a move for Joachim Andersen to help prioritise the Champions League, to help improve their team, to help strengthen their team so they can go into the Champions League and also they can do well in the Premier League. It's going to be getting some European experience up there as well, and I think it's going to be an interesting move for him. However, Tottenham have also joined the race. New Tottenham manager is a very big admirer of the centre-back, and according to the Daily Mail, who dropped both of these stories, might I add, they want to strengthen their backline with Andersen as well, because Lenglet doesn't seem to be the player that they thought he was, and to get Romero a real good centre-back partner, and honestly I think he'd fit in at Spurs. I think with them playing Pedro Porro, someone like that, and Kane, Andersen's long passes is going to do very well for that team. Obviously, Palace have set a price tag of £50 million. Honestly, I'd love to see it happen, but I don't think that will happen, purely because I think 50 million is way too much. But it would ease the burden of selling him, purely because if we get 50 million in for Andersen, then we could maybe spend 25 million on Schürrle and then 25 million on Franca. This is probably the most ideal scenario out of the whole thing, because I'd probably rather sell him than Gay. Hopefully, because it's Newcastle and Spurs and they're wanting for very similar reasons, maybe there could be a bit of a bidding war, maybe there could be a bit extra money on top of that 50 million. Obviously, he's got great passing and he's a great leader in the team. We're gonna find ways to get someone similar, but we're not going to find someone that's as good at passing as him, unfortunately. But as of right now, he's still a Crystal Palace player. He's doing pre-season with us, and we'll see what happens. The ideal scenario is not selling any of them, but if it was to happen, Andersen for 50 million, I probably wouldn't be too upset if that happened. 22-year-old English winger that currently plays for Chelsea, Callum HudsonOdoi, currently struggling to get in the team at Chelsea, and he's just been sent out on loan to Bayern Leverkusen. He only has 1 year left on his contract as it runs out in June 2024, which will make him a free agent at the end of next season. However, Chelsea want him off the books. He's currently on £120,000 a week. He was only put on that contract because a few years ago Bayern Munich looked like they wanted to buy him for about £70 million, but that deal fell through. Obviously, with him collecting that much money off Chelsea, they probably don't want him on their wage book for that much longer, as long as he's picking up the money on the bench. However, he is a very versatile forward. He plays left wing, preferably, but he can also play attacking midfield and as a right winger. This would help us out greatly, purely because Elise is out for 3 months. Ayu's potentially going. Zaha still hasn't signed his contract. So having players that we can fill in all across the front line is probably the best thing we can do. We can fill in for injuries and we can compensate for lack of form, for example. So everyone's always under competition, but we've always got cover. So it's a very good transfer strategy that Crystal Palace are putting into place. However, he has struggled a hell of a lot. He got a really bad Achilles injury in the 2018-2019 season, at which really has just stumped his growth, stumped his progression through the ranks, and he just isn't where he really should be right now, because he should be way out of our reach at this moment in time. But because of that injury, he is, and you can see that. Unfortunately, he did have his loan at Bayer Leverkusen last season, but it didn't go as planned. The manager that bought him wanted to play him as an attacker, as a roaming forward, unfortunately got sacked pretty soon into his loan stint, and the next manager that came in didn't really fancy him. Much rather played wing backs rather than proper wingers, and he was sort of thrusted into a right wing back position. So when I go through these stats, remember that this is from a right wing back position, because he only played 1 or 2 games outside of that position, and he really only played when Frimpong was injured or he got subbed on for HudsonOdoi, so he really didn't get a fair shot at Leverkusen, unfortunately. So with 7 starts in 14 total appearances, he scored 0 goals and got 1 assist. He registered 0.3 shots per 90 and 0.1 shots on target per 90, but remember, this is as a right back, only playing 2 games in his proper position, with 87% pass accuracy, which is actually very good. 87% pass accuracy is a very good stat. Much of it is very safe passing, going back and side to side. However, when he does make the probing pass, it most of the time does make it to where it's supposed to go. 1 successful dribble per 90, which means it is a 58% completion rate when he does want to take a dribble. Obviously, these stats aren't very good for a forward, but as I've said, he has really struggled at Leverkusen, and it's at a right-back position. However, even when he played at Chelsea, he's never been a very stat-heavy kind of guy. The season before this, when he played at Chelsea, only 1 goal and 2 assists, which isn't spectacular, and if you look at him across his whole career, apart from his youth team career, he's never really been the guy that will put up loads of goals and loads of good numbers. But if you look at him on the eye test, you do the eye test, he's a very good player. Looking like a very raw talent, looking like Zaha before he started scoring goals. Can beat a man. He's actually physically strong, which is probably what Zaha didn't have. The only thing is you can tell that he's really watching out for that injury. You can tell that he's not pushing himself as he should be, and he's a bit afraid to use his legs to his full potential. He said that in a Sky interview. I think the actual words he used said he's trying not to stress his Achilles, so he's trying to use other parts of his legs. So he's getting injuries on other parts of his legs because he's just so afraid of getting that injury back on his Achilles again. And talking about injuries, he's very injury prone. Just look at the stats, just look at the numbers. He's missed so many games, even last season and the years before that. He's just really struggling, and for someone that young to have that many injuries, it's not a very good sign, unfortunately. I think the ideal scenario would be that he would sign as an understudy or a backup to Zaha and Elise, if he can play both sides. If we sub him on, you can sub him on for each one of them. However, it doesn't look like Zaha's going to sign, so if he is that Zaha replacement kind of player, I don't think he'll be able to fill the gap. He probably could in a few years, and if he can really properly get through his injury, but he'll probably need another 6 months of maybe just healing before he could actually play proper football to the extent that he would want to play at. Obviously, Chelsea want him off the books, but they said that they're going to pay 2 years of his wages, which in our eyes, that's brilliant. Why not? But there's going to be a catch. There has to be a catch. I'm sure it'll be something like they can buy him back for what we bought him for. There's a 50% sell-on clause or something stupid like that. So overall, I think it wouldn't be that bad of a move. I wouldn't mind doing this move for anything less than £12 million. I think anything more than that, we're spending a bit too much money, purely because of the fact that he's so injury prone and he hasn't got the end product which we had from Zaha. So if we paid any more money, we need to get something better in end product. On to the next one. 22-year-old American right back that currently plays for Barcelona, Sergio Dest, played extremely well in the World Cup in 2022 and currently playing in the CONCACAF Nations League. He is a right back, but he can play as a left back, showing that he is versatile and also showing that we are still implementing this strategy of getting very versatile players all over the pitch. So we're not looking at it just for the forwards, we are looking at it for the defenders as well. Did have a loan spell at AC Milan last season. He was there for the whole season. He did play some games at left back and right back, so he showed off his talents there when he got the chance to. But similar to Callum HudsonOdoi, he wasn't really in favour the whole time he was there. Didn't make many appearances, and when he did make appearances, he showed his good abilities. He's got attacking flair, he can drive with the ball. His defensive abilities aren't the best when speaking to Barcelona fans, AC Milan fans, and even some American fans as well. So they're saying that he's great attacking, but his defence needs to be worked on. But we need an attacking kind of fullback, and I have heard also that his defending has gotten so much better after his time at AC Milan and recently in his American team. When he runs forward, he's a very powerful runner, and he does remind me a hell of a lot of Kyle Walker. Being able to pick up the ball out wide and run down the wing, be able to do some skills, get a good cross in the box, or he can drive inside, have a shot, or lay off a pass for a good assist. Obviously, if you watch him play for America, he looks incredible. But if you watch him play for AC Milan, if you can find any of that footage, purely because he didn't actually play that much, you'll see a stark difference. So, for example, for America, Musa for America is incredible, but Musa for Valencia, the Valencia fans want him out as soon as possible. So, the Twitter test that Dan says is pretty accurate with this one. So let's get some stats. So as I said, he didn't play very much with 2 starts in 8 total appearances for AC Milan with 0 goals and 0 assists. Same as Callum, 0.3 shots and 0.1 on target per 90. He has missed 1 big chance over the whole season. 0.5 key passes per 90, 84% pass accuracy throughout the whole season. For all his appearances, he didn't get a single clean sheet, which doesn't look very good for a defender. 0.5 interceptions and 1.5 tackles per 90, which actually isn't that bad. So what people are saying about him improving his defensive game is very true. 1 dribble per 90 as well, but that one is only a 47% completion rate. Very similar to Callum again, he is very injury prone. Didn't play that much this whole season, missing 11 games this season alone to really kind of stupid stuff like not fit, injury and muscle fatigue, and really that shouldn't even be the case when it comes to a professional footballer these days. Even with his other loans, so when he was at Ajax, at Barcelona for a couple of years, and at AC Milan, he has missed 34 games in total over only 3 seasons, which is absolutely atrocious. He's a good player, he's a tidy player, he's great for America, he's great when he's on form, he's great when he's going forwards, but the rumoured price tag is £22 million, and that's something that I just don't see Crystal Palace doing. We're not going to spend £22 million on a player that's always injured, that can't really defend, and is just going to be very unreliable when it comes to fitness. Obviously, we've got someone like Chris Richards who will probably spur him to come to us a bit more, but do we really want him? Also, Man United and Ten Hag are very big admirers of him because they look like they want to replace Aaron Wan-Bissaka with him as a more advanced option at fullback, which will probably drive the price up even more above £22 million. Yeah, honestly, I don't see it happening. I think we can get better fullbacks for less money and less injury-prone fullbacks for less money as well. So that's my opinion. That's all for Dest, really. I don't think that he's the one. And yes, guys, that's it. What do you guys think of Callum HudsonOdoi and Sergio Dest? Personally, I think they're both very good players, but I think their injury record and their lack of form is a real burden to both of them. But obviously, because of that, they have something to prove. Guys, please tell me what you think in the comments of both of these players. Put in the comments who you want me to cover next week's episode. Remember to look out for the shorts. And yes, guys, this is JC from Eagle Eye Football. I'll see you next week. Up the Palace. Eagles!